Welcome. Hope everyone had a good day. Today's day 64, and yeah, let's get it. As usual, I say what I thought about, what I read at the end of the video. It'll be like 2, 3 minutes, very briefly. Um, and yeah, let's not waste any more time, and let's get right to it.
you really feel that working group practice is an option, you should take that option. If not, apply the principles of deliberate practice as much as possible in practice. This often boils down to purposeful practice with a few extra steps. Let's identify the expert performers and look at what they do makes them so good. Then combine training techniques that allow you to determine who the experts are. The idea is to use as an objective. Measure to simply best from the rest. Best from the rest. This is where the competition, such as individual sports and games, but is also loosely based referring to pick the best performers and the performers. Standards one set the standards for performance and declare expectations for what expert performers do. When athletes or performers are part of a group, it becomes trickier, but is a significant difference. A 91 wine is a good wine that will fetch a premium price, while an 83 is nothing special. Some judges determined one of the three samples to be worthy of a gold medal, and another of the three to be worth just a bronze medal or no medal at all. And while in any given year, while in any given year, some judges were more consistent than others. When Hodgson compared them year to year, he found that judges were he found that judges who were consistent one year were inconsistent the next. None of the judges, and these were some years, wine critics, winemakers, wine consultants, and wine buyers, proved to be inconsistent all the time.
Alright, I have to read this to you guys. This is a funny one. Alright, ready? Okay. Shit. Alright. Yeah, this is pretty funny. They don't even agree with themselves. Oops. Also, I'm getting a by tomorrow, you guys should see me not with this white Kindle Paperwhite, but the newest one. I purchased the latest one that was released, I believe, less than a week ago. It was released on the 16th. I got the the Paperwhite. I don't even need the Paperwhite, to be honest with you, because I rarely like take it outside and stuff. The only reason why I got it was I remember once I poured soda onto this thing, and it like shorted, I guess. I was very lucky that it turned back on and everything was back to normal. But then that scared the shit out of me. Also, honestly, I don't really need a new Paperwhite, but I bought this back in 2016. So it's been 8 years, close to 9 years actually, because I bought it in the summer, I think, of 2016. So in 2-3 months, actually, yeah, 8 months, it will be 9 year. It will be 9 years. That's a very long time. And with new technology available, why not? But anyways, let me just go back. In many fields, alright, ready? In many fields, people who are widely accepted as experts are actually not expert performers when judged by objective criteria. One of my favorite examples of this phenomenon concerns wine experts. Many of us assume that their highly developed palates can pick out subtleties and nuances in wines that are not apparent to the rest of us, but studies have shown that their powers are highly exaggerated. For example, while it has long been known that the ratings given to individual wines often vary widely from expert to expert, a 2008 article in the Journal of Wine Economics reported that wine experts don't even agree with themselves. Robert Hodgson, butchering that name, the owner of a small California winery, got in touch with the head judge of the annual wine competition at the California State Fair, in which thousands of wines are entered each year, and suggested an experiment. The competition is set up so that each judge tastes a flight of 30 wines at a time. The wines are not identified, so the judge cannot be influenced by reputation or other factors. Hodgson suggested that in a number of those flights, the judges should be given 3 samples of the same wine. Would they give these identical samples the same rating, or would their ratings vary? The head judge agreed, and Hodgson ran this experiment at 4 consecutive state fairs from 2005 to 2008. He found that very few judges rated the 3 identical samples similarly. It was common for a judge to give scores that vary by plus or minus 4 points. That is, to give one sample a 91, a second sample of the same wine an 87, and the third an 83. This is a significant difference. A 91 wine is a good wine that will fetch a premium price, while an 83 is nothing special. Some judges determined one of the 3 samples to be worthy of a gold medal, and another of the 3 to be worth just a bronze medal, or no medal at all. That's crazy. And while in any given year, some judges were more consistent than others, when Hodgson compared them year to year, he found that judges who were consistent one year were inconsistent the next. None of the judges, and these were sommeliers, wine critics, winemakers, wine consultants, and wine buyers, proved to be consistent all the time. Damn. That's embarrassing. That really is embarrassing. I mean, yeah, that is embarrassing though. Yeah, that is embarrassing. Because if I don't know, if I were to coin myself an expert in wine, right, and I get paid a good amount of money for it, I would try, and this is super important in my opinion regarding, while it's not similar, it's something that I really want a lot of people to start doing, is not be so caught up with what, especially, okay, so I listen to a lot of music, right? I listen to on average about 7 to 8 albums a day. And when I do that, I try to always hear it for myself. As in, this is I don't know if this is supposed to be interpreted as being narcissistic, but I believe I have the best ears for myself, as in my opinion is valid and no one else's opinion is. And that honestly is not, I don't think that is narcissistic at all, right? Like, if you get hurt, like, you're the one who's hurt, right? If someone says, hey, that's not really, you're gonna be fine. I mean, excuse me, not you're gonna be fine, but hey, I know that doesn't hurt, man. If someone says that about, your reception of pain, and it hurts like a burning needle, like just going around your skin, right? I think my point is that, like, if you know that a certain piece of music is, it's not your taste, right? Because of your own specific reasons for which you are absolutely certain of. I find it intriguing when people get so easily offended by it. When someone says that this album is no good, even if it's an album that you listened to it and it was good for you. And I've studied the reason why, and I first thought of it as, maybe because, music is very personal. When they listen to it, they kind of unconsciously associate themselves to the music that they're listening to, right? So when they are immediately told that it's no good, it unconsciously also transfers as how they themselves are not good, like their listening or their interpretation of music, or their musical tastes, for that matter, are not excellent or not good or not great, etc. But at the same time, should you really care, like, what other people think about a certain type of music? It's just something that something that I thought about. Very narcissistic. I'm extremely curious about when someone says that they don't like this album, or when someone says that they like this album. that are opposites of my own personal opinions. It's, you know, because it's an opportunity for me to learn what is what they must have heard, or what I must have, you know. it's it's an interesting point, because it's the same thing as me seeing blue and this person seeing red, right? Or this person seeing white while I see black. I see it like I interpret interpret it like that, you know. So where is that? It's like, it's not as it's not as object it's not as objective as colors. Obviously, it's very subjective, which is what makes it more interesting, in my opinion, about music in general. Um, but the general point that I wanted to say was, I kind of want people to have more strict, more concrete reasonings behind their opinions, because when they get offended, or when they are, it's mostly from either insecurity, or they just aren't certain um, for themselves as to why this music is good, sounds good for them. I don't know, just a little, thing. Because Bring Me, you know, this may sound incredibly, it's not even, I don't even think it is. um Jesus, that was a long statement thing. Yeah, but anyways, let's go right back to reading. Okay, so see, this is why, like, I think, well, wine, you can't make wine, right? I think the best thing that you can actually really do is taste as many and as many, and have your reasoning as to why, um like, register it, I guess. I think that is super, super important, because that technically connects with what I was saying about, and what this book was saying about, practice hours, the hours of practice put in. And it's for data. And at the same time, if you taste as many different types of wines as you can, um, you're building up your flavor profile. And this kind of goes to it. This is not about wine, because I don't know if you, um, because when I uh, when I get opinions about certain types of, um, what do you call it, um, like food, right? I am picky as I'm like one of the pickiest eaters you can ever meet. In but the thing is, I trust my friends, because they're my friends, right? But at the same time, I don't, you know, if you haven't kind of understood, I guess. Excuse me. That I don't mean to be. I don't mean to sound derogatory, or come off in that manner. But what I mean is, if I don't there's no reason for me to listen to a stranger's opinion is what I'm trying to say about certain restaurants. And it's just, like it's like, who is this person, that kind of thing, right? Like, who is this person and why should I trust this person about this restaurant, where I'm gonna have to spend my own hard-earned money and my time in getting there, and etc., right? So when someone has rated a place good, or when someone has rated a place bad, you want to gain reputation. You want to gain some sort of data behind who these reviewers are, and you want to know if what they've reviewed before, and etc., right? So what I'm trying to say is, it really is depending. It really is dependent on, like the values of opinions. I'm trying to say, I regard, instead of these food critics, it has to be people who cook. I wholeheartedly, if you're a chef, my trust already goes up here compared to like the normal people, because chefs, they need to know what tastes good and what doesn't taste good, right? Because it's literally, they taste, if they serve food that tastes like shit, they're gonna go out of business, right? They're gonna go in debt, they're gonna go out of business, etc. So it kind of, their livelihood is dependent on their tongue alone, and it's that already puts it up there, right? I think it's the same thing with musicians. People who produce good music are the types of people that I will trust more, and I will value their opinions. I will regard their opinions to be highly than just, I'm sincerely not apologetic about this, but I consider their opinions much more valuable than any music critics. Going on to music critics, or any other critics, food critics, etc. And it's, I don't know. It's just, I just find that to be very not negatively written at all. It's just, I think it's just how it is, how it should be. Because look, research has shown that the experts in many fields don't perform reliably better than other less highly regarded members of the profession, or sometimes even than people who have had no training at all. Isn't that sad? I'm thinking about the people who trust these critics' opinions, and now their own opinions are warped, right? If they were to have tried this food or tried this piece of music without any sort of influence, just raw, their own one-on-one interpretation about the food or about the piece of music, it may have been completely different, and they are just completely oblivious to it. Isn't that kind of sad? I don't know. I think that's just really sad, because I think subjectivity is one of the most beautiful things a person can feel. And I feel like social media is slowly but surely eroding that idea. Many studies have found that performance. Holy shit. My heart just dropped for a little second, because I thought I didn't hit record button. Jesus. Oh my goodness. Because I don't have time. It's 10 o'clock already. Shit. So this is something that I don't, I'm not sure of. So not I'm not sure, but I have a different thought of the reason why. It says doctors in general practice with several decades of experience sometimes perform worse when judged by objective measures than doctors with just a few years of experience, mainly because the younger doctors attended medical school more recently, so their training is more up to date and they are more likely to remember it. Actually, yeah, never mind. I think up to when it says their training is more up to date, I'm assuming it's they're talking about the methods of I guess data methods. I don't know, like several years. Um, if I may carefully suggest, several decades. It's a long time, no? And when I say this, it feels like I'm implying that many doctors with several decades of experience are not up to date with what the recent medical advances, treatments, techniques, etc. That's an interesting fact. That's an interesting thing to think about, though. Contrary to expectations, experiences are linked to improved performance among many types of doctors and nurses. The lesson here is clear. Be careful when identifying expert performers. Ideally, each one's objective measure of performance within reach to compare people's abilities. If no such measure is successful, get as close as you can.
So producers. Producers. Once you have identified an expert, identify what this person does differently from others that could explain his superior performance. There are likely to be many things. The person does differently that have nothing to do with his superior performance, but at least it is a place to start. In all of this, keep in mind that the idea is to inform your purposeful practice and point it in directions that will be more effective. If you keep in mind that the idea is to inform your purposeful practice and point it in directions that will be more effective. In all of this, keep in mind that the idea is to inform your purposeful practice. Is to inform your purposeful practice and point it in directions that will be more effective. If you find that something works, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, stop. The better you are able to tailor your training to mirror the best performers in your field, the more effective your training is likely to be. The better you're able to tailor your training to. The better your training mirrors the best performers in the field. The better your training mirrors the best performers in the field. The better your methods, the better the best performance, the better your training will be. Finally, remember that whenever possible, the best approach is almost always to work with a good coach or teacher. An effective instructor will understand what must go into a successful training regimen and will be able to modify it as necessary to suit individual students. So you need a good teacher. Working with such a teacher is particularly important in areas like musical performance or ballet, where it takes 10 plus years to become an expert, and where the training is cumulative. With the successful performance of one skill, often depending on having previously mastered the skills. A knowledgeable instructor can lead the student to develop a good foundation, and then gradually build on that foundation to create methods. Gradually build on that foundation to create the skills expected in that field. In learning the piano, for instance, a student must have proper finger placement from the start. For a while, it may be possible to play simpler. Pieces with the fingers not in their ideal positions. It may be possible to play simpler pieces with the fingers out of their ideal positions. More complicated pieces will demand the student have to develop proper habits. Proper habits and experience teacher will understand that no student can expect to figure out such things unless they're very talented. Finally, a good teacher can give you valuable feedback.
Oh no, the goldfish stopped. Okay, so I'm reading about Malcolm Gladwell's very famous The 10,000 Hour Rule, which is required until, well, usually it's the hours of practice that is required until one becomes a master in that is relevant to most fields. I'm reading about that right now, but I think I said if you guys want to go in the middle somewhere in the video, I don't know, browse through it. I talked about certain specific parts, and I think I talked about them enough that I don't really have a lot of things to say about it in the videos and the right now. So what I've learned is that you need a good teacher. I think that's the most important thing, because a good teacher can kind of sort out what the hell you're doing wrong and what the hell should be done right, or what the hell you could be doing right. That will be beneficial for you in the long run. I was mostly, the book talks about piano as well, and I also was thinking about it in regarding music, especially production. I think production, and because music production is mostly skill. It's mostly about the techniques that you know, that is learned either by yourself through intense browsing of YouTube and other sources. But usually, I think the best, and this is my personal opinion, and it's a very unfounded opinion. I think it's also very exciting because as I was talking about music production, there are a lot of MIDI files, not MIDI file, project files that essentially contain everything. How this person how this person got to the sound, what plugins, what techniques they used, and you can, if you kind of know how to work your way around it, you can kind of understand, understand what this person did, how they achieved the sounds. You can also kind of do it on Ableton. But obviously, once you've the more you know, the more questions you're gonna have. It's just because you know how this person got to the sound, you only know about it in that particular song. They could be doing a completely different thing in a different on a different song. But anyways, it's late. I will see you guys tomorrow, and yeah, see you guys on day 65. Peace.